rather than looking at climate change in the external world, I would encourage you, just for today, to look at climate change in your own inner world. How has the temperature, the atmosphere, the environment within you personally, in your body, in your mind, and in your spirit, been changing as of recently? Or are you the same person you were last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15, 20, 30? Let's talk about your personal climate change, and perhaps it may be time to come to terms with it. I'm Sensei Victoria Whitfield. Sensei means teacher in Japanese, so I'm more of like a personal or spiritual teacher. And I help impact-driven entrepreneurs and leaders, professionals like you, to increase their energy so they can increase their income and impact out in the world. I firmly believe that when you feel better, you do better. And that when more good people like you are getting out there doing good work in the world and getting paid well for it, more good happens as a result. And I want to be a force of helping you get into that better feeling state so that you can take the action that Spirit's calling you to. This is a second of 3 part series going through chapter 7 of Outwitting the Devil, which is Napoleon Hill's book on the secrets to freedom and success, and the sequel to Think and Grow Rich. This is especially for those of us who have that angel and devil on our shoulders, where instead of mostly having the angel cheering us on, we've got the devil saying, no, you can't, and here's why. So if you tend to get in your own way, this book is great for you, and we're on the 7th chapter. It's about planting seeds of fear, how the devil on our shoulder does that to us. And if that speaks to you, if you want more, make sure you like and subscribe so that you get the notifications first, and hop on the email list for my commentary right in your inbox, where I don't share anywhere else other than only on the email list, as well as any specials for working with me or joining my programs. I'm here at my wonderful dojo mansion here in Sleepy Hollow section of New Jersey. The previous episode I was outside, but the landscapers came, so woo, we're back indoors in the lovely sunroom. And for the record, no, this is not AI. I don't know, sometimes people say like, where background looks so real. That's because it is. It's real. Oh my gosh. We live in that day and age, right? So with that, personal climate change, and to really dive into this topic, I wanted to begin similarly as the last episode of looking at what is the denotative definition of what a climate is versus the connotation of the phrase climate change. And for those of you who need a super fast recap, the denotative definition is the one that comes from the dictionary. It's what it actually means. Whereas the connotated definition of something is defined by social interactions, defined by society, social trends, right? So when we talk about climate or climate change, environmentalism and the theory about the temperature of the earth is what usually tends to come up. For today's meditation, for our conversation, we're looking at your internal climate, right? The one of your mind and your emotions. So Merriam-Webster's dictionary says, a climate as a noun is a region of the earth having specified climatic conditions the average course or condition of the weather at a place, usually over a period of years, as exhibited by temperature, wind velocity, and precipitation, the prevailing set of conditions as of a temperature and humidity indoors, and the prevailing influence or environmental conditions characterizing a group or a period, such as the atmosphere. And that right then is what we're getting into. What is influencing you? What group is influencing you? Can you read the room, and how do you read the room? What is the environment in which you live on a day-to-day basis, and how does that environment influence you in particular? When we're talking about personal climate change, we're really having a conversation about the influence of your environment on you. Nature versus nurture, for those of you who are familiar with that philosophical conversation, right? So our environment includes time, money, energy, space, relationships, right? It involves our education, our resources, the information that we are exposed to, on top of literally what flora and fauna, right? Air quality, lighting, water quality. Our environment is the level of resource that we have access to. And the climate of that environment is about what is the quality of those resources. So, such as people, the people that we have access to, what quality of people are around us? Are they highly educated? Are they positive? Are they very hardworking? Are they critical? Are they of a certain gender, sexuality, race, ethnicity, political leaning, age, sex, right? And all of the above. Looking at how the climate of your environment has changed, I would say within the last 5 to 10 years, right? You could even say since COVID. How has your personal climate changed? Physically, right here in your own personal world, but especially in your mind and heart within you. Has how you thought about yourself and others changed? Has how you feel about yourself and others changed, let's say, since 2020, right? Since COVID. Becoming aware and documenting your own personal internal climate change is essential, because if you're trying to do a new thing, right? If you're trying to take a step in a new direction, trying to turn over a new leaf, but you haven't acknowledged that how you feel, right? The atmosphere of your internal environment, your inner climate hasn't changed, but you're trying to do something new, you're going to run into some friction. You're going to have some cognitive dissonance. And we especially see that come up in affirmations work. So with my private clients, I get a lot of people who are trying to shift their mindset so that they can live better, and do more. And in the process of that, sometimes we work with many different tools, but with affirmations, such as I love and approve of myself, right? A good old school Louise Hay affirmation for those of you who've been rocking with self-help ever since the 80s. Yeah. Or I can do it. I can have a business. I can have a slim body. I can, right? All of the, whatever your affirmation is, if you don't acknowledge the shift in your internal climate change, you're going to immediately call BS on the affirmations that you're using, right? Such as, I am positively expecting great results. By the end of this month, I will have 4 new clients for my business. And so it is. And in comes the, no, you won't. You haven't started your business yet. You don't even know what your brand colors are. Who would pay you for what you do? And right? All of the peanut gallery wakes up and puts on the loudspeaker to say, no, you can't, right? Or I'm positively expecting great results. I claim and desire true and legendary love in my life. I am ready for a soul-filling relationship and I receive it in my life now, and so it is. And the peanut gallery says, who do you think you are? That's ridiculous. That's just a dream, a pie in the sky. All men are dogs. All women are crazy and they just want to take all of your money. Nobody's gonna love you. You're not worth it. Blah, 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 blah. Right? All of the negativity of the old climate will start to pipe up if you want to take a step in a new direction, if you want to turn over a new leaf. Right? Or if you're manifesting for your body. I see and feel myself in healthy, strong, and slim body. The strength of my body is powerful and profound. I feel vital and sexy, and everybody's heads turn when I get into the room, and so it is. And here comes the peanut gallery saying, everyone's head's turning because you're so fat and ugly. You love cake and cookies and chocolate. Who are you kidding? You know, you can't trust yourself when you go to Trader Joe's. Here they come. Right? These are the signs of internal climate change. When you try to do something new and positive, and all of the old tries to pull you back. Is this sounding familiar? Be kind to yourself. If that's the case, the secret that we're going to uncover in today's reading, as we go into it now, is that the reason why you've got that friction, that internal climate change friction of your mind versus your desires, right? Your positivity and optimism versus your skepticism and pessimism. The reason why that's happening is actually because of your environment. And if you don't shift your environment to support the new direction that you want to go into, it'll just go back and reset to the original state, right? It's going to be extra hard. With that, chapter 7 in Outwitting the Devil, let's read. Okay, so Napoleon Hill is talking to the devil on his shoulder, right? His internal, you cannot do it, right? The shadow on his shoulder. And he says, if the force of hypnotic rhythm is not voluntarily applied to attain definite ends, may it be a great danger. Pause. For those of you who've not been reading with me, you're going to be like, what is hypnotic rhythm? So hypnotic rhythm is basically the power of habits, getting in the habit of doing certain things. You can get in the habit of doing good things, and you can get in the habit of doing bad things. Getting in the habit of doing good or bad things, that habit is hypnotic rhythm, where you have a rhythm that you've hypnotized yourself to stay with. Whenever I get home, I crack open that beer. Whenever I get home, I crack open that beer. That's my rhythm. That's my rhythm. I can hear the sound of the I can feel the bubbles in my mouth and filling my belly. I'm hypnotized by it, right? You can self-hypnotize yourself into the habit of drinking a beer whenever you get home from work, which will create negative outcomes such as, right, a beer belly, or mess with your blood pressure or your relationships or different systems of your body. Or you can get into the habit of, every time I get home, I go to the gym. Every time I get home, I'm excited to go to the gym. Every time I get home, I'm excited to click into my gym shoes and go to the gym, right? You have two different hypnotic rhythms, where you fall into the rhythm of having a can of beer when you get home, or 6, a can or a case, or you get into the rhythm of getting yourself ready to immediately go to the gym, or something constructive. You see, hypnotic rhythm could be used for good or for bad. Back to originally what Napoleon Hill was asking the devil on his shoulder. If the force of hypnotic rhythm is not voluntarily applied to attain definite ends, may it be a great danger? And the devil on his shoulder responds, yes, and for the reason that it operates automatically. If it is not consciously applied to attain a desired end, it can and it will operate to attain undesired ends. Take the simple illustration of climate, for example. Anyone can see and understand that nature forces every living thing and every element of matter to adjust itself to her climates. In the tropics, she creates trees which bear fruit and reproduce themselves. She forces the trees to adjust themselves to her scorching sun. She forces them to put out the leaves suitable for protection against the rays of the sun. These same trees could not survive if removed to the Arctic regions, where nature has established an entirely different climate. In the colder climate, she creates trees which are adjusted to survive and to reproduce themselves, but they could not survive if transplanted in the tropical regions. In the same manner, nature clothes her animals, gives to those in each different climate a covering suited to their comfort and survival in that climate. In a similar manner, nature forces upon the minds of men the influences of their environment, which are stronger than an individual's own thoughts. Children are forced to take on the nature of all influences of those around them unless their own thoughts are stronger than the influencers. Nature sets up a definite rhythm for every environment, and everything within the range of that rhythm is forced to conform to it. Man alone has the power to establish his own rhythm of thought, providing he exercises this privilege before hypnotic rhythm has forced upon him the influences of his environment. Every home, every place of business, every town and village, and every street and community center has its own definite, discernible rhythm. If you wish to know what a difference there is in the rhythms of streets, take a walk up Fifth Avenue in New York, and then take a walk down a street in the slums. All forms of rhythm become permanent with time. Napoleon Hill responds, does each individual have his own rhythm of thought? And the devil on his shoulder replies, yes, that is precisely the major difference between individuals. The person who thinks in terms of power, success, opulence, sets up a rhythm which attracts these desirable possessions. The person who thinks in terms of misery, failure, defeat, discouragement, and poverty attracts these undesirable influences. This explains why both success and failure are the result of habit. Habit establishes one's rhythm of thought, and that rhythm attracts the object of one's dominating thoughts. Tying this back to change your climate. Your personal climate change is the key to you changing your life for the better. If every time you try to put yourself out there, you feel something kicking your legs out from underneath you, or something creeping up to make you think that you are not enough, it's because maybe you know what the right things are to do, the right actions to take, but the environment around you, the people that you surround yourself with, the food that you are eating, right? The area that you live in, the spaces and groups that you've been putting yourself out in or going to hang out with, maybe the clothes that you are wearing, right? Or the things that you put into your body, such as substances of any kind, right? Drugs, smoking, drinks, alcohol, etc. Your environment may be the one thing that is kicking your legs out from underneath you every time you try to take a step forward. Change the climate. Change the climate. Taking his example of tropical versus Arctic climate, right? If you want to improve your ability to withstand the winds and the cold and the challenge of being out in a certain industry, going where it's sunny and fine and everything is light may not give you the thick skin that you need to contend in a more competitive environment. Sometimes you've got to change the climate mentally. So that means sometimes you need to put yourself in a room where you are not the smartest person in the room, where it's about standing up and voicing your opinion. It makes me think of a client of mine who described going to a dinner party, a traditional dinner party, for the first time. And he was so surprised that he was uncomfortable just speaking up and offering something to the discussion. He was so used to spending time with family and friends where he feels safe and used to interacting with people who he knows or people whose people he knows, that when he was surrounded by strangers who were coming together at a dinner party to have interesting conversation with other strangers, it made his heart race. But this is a good thing for him and for us, by the way, that he would be taken out of that tropical, comfortable, warm environment and placed into something a little bit colder, of okay, around strangers instead of all people only like me. Now it's a diverse environment. Ooh, the climate brought another level of awareness out of him, another level of desires, an image of himself, a new set of skills started to come up. And he's like, we were talking about this, processing this, how good it was for his energy to get him outside of his comfort zone so that he can expand more by growing thicker skin and also a more confident voice, because he has so much to offer. Does this sound familiar? Type it in the comments below. Like, that's me. Type it in the comments below if you need to change your climate, or if you need to acknowledge that the climate around you has changed. It's not what it used to be. And it's time for you to move to a climate that's more conducive to where you want to go, as opposed to the climate that is here. Maybe, conversely, the climate has gotten harsh in your home, in your mind, in your heart, in your friend group, in your company, in your industry, in your community. Maybe the climate, the emotional and mental climate has gotten so harsh, it's gotten cold, but you're a warm heart, you're a loving person. This is so not you. That harshness is so not you. Acknowledging, you know what? The climate has changed. This is not it. I've got to make a shift. And you don't have to physically move to do it. You don't have to physically move to make your personal climate change. It starts in your mind and in your heart. Acknowledging the difference, and because of that, seeing, all right, now that I know this, what do I need going forward? And orienting to your needs going forward. Maybe the climate around you has shifted to be really cold and really combative, especially because of all the political stuff going on in the media and online and in news and all this stuff. And you're a warm person where I'm not into politics. So then you can't change everybody else necessarily. You can't. You just can't. But for yourself, deciding when that coldness or harshness comes up, you're going to orient to warmth. Instead of talking about all of these hot button topics, you're going to choose love, what you're open to creating, things that you appreciate and enjoy, or positivity, or things that you can control that have nothing to do with winners and losers, right? Instead, you're going to focus on that tropical climate of what is good and edifying, higher values, things that fill your cup up and speak to your soul. What comes up for you hearing all this? Go ahead and type it in the comments. The card that's coming forward, by the way, is Knight of Earth. As a challenger, it says, loyal, dedicated, honorable, kind, time to buckle down and get things done, honor your commitments, a guardian angel. And my spirit guide said, when it comes as a challenger today, this is to warn you about being loyal to a fault. You are being the knight of the earth. You are everyone and everything's knight and shining armor. And that climate now, when it used to be tropical and it was okay and felt safe for you to be everyone's guardian angel, it was warm. Now it's gotten cold. And so you being everyone's knight in shining armor is super harsh on you. Watch out, right? It's time to shift. Maybe we're not everybody's knight in shining armor. Maybe we're not going to be loyal to a fault. We're going to pick and choose what we're loyal to. And we're also, especially first and foremost, going to be loyal to and dependable for ourselves, responsible for ourselves, our own health, our mental health and well-being. Does that make sense? Yeah. Let's get to the meditation of the day to really bring this in, because we could talk about your personal climate change, but now it's time to really get that feeling of the climate changing and shifting. Really going from especially a harsher or non-supportive climate to one that is supportive and is taking you where you want to go. So you could go to bevisionarymovement.com, our app hosted on school, and you're going to go to the meditation tracker. This is for October of 2025 at the filming of this video. So you just type that in the search bar, And the meditation that we're going to be doing for today to change your climate is Egg of Abundance Angels. Egg of Abundance Angels. That's what you're going to type in the search bar at the top of the screen. By the way, when you go to bevisionarymovement.com, BE, is it spelled? Spell the word out, all one word, bevisionarymovement.com. You can start your free 7-day trial so that you can do the meditation of the day. It's 18 minutes, Egg of Abundance Angels. And so the reason why we're going to do this meditation to change your climate is to really bring you into the incubator, right? Because if you want to grow yourself, you need to feel safe and protected as you do so. And that's why we're doing that Egg of Abundance and to being surrounded by the angels to help you shift from being in a harsh environment, a non-supportive climate, to just like in that egg, one that is completely only there to support your greatest self, you growing into the best version of you. So with that, if you made it to the end of this video, thanks for staying. Make sure that you hit the like button there and the share so that more people know how that it's time to change your climate. And if you want a one-on-one session here at my lovely mansion or over the phone, make sure to go to talkwithvictoria.com and we'll see you there. Remember, you do not have to lose your glow as you grow in life and business. Bye for now.